what's going on, man? Yo, what's up? Hey, I hear those Raptors are doing good finally. Yeah, man, starting to finally turn the page. Yeah. They started the season 1-4. How many games have they won since then? What did you ask me? In the last 7 games. How many games did they win? Toronto Raptors beat the Cleveland Cavaliers 126-113 to improve to 7-5 on the season and are now 2 games over 500. What's going on, guys? My name is Yusuf Abbas and welcome back to another episode of the Raptors Rundown. And as you can see, I am a world-renowned actor with that incredible skit, Hollywood, please hit my line. But I'm also wearing the sunglasses because I'm on cloud 9 because I have not felt this way about a Toronto Raptors team since the year we made the playoffs. That was a season where we came off a tanking year, you know what I mean? Things were looking bleak, everyone was writing us off. Then we got a little bit of luck drafting a guy like Scottie Barnes. We get a little bit of luck with the uprising of Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam coming back to form. OG Anunoby was incredible that year. And Gary Trent Jr.'s career resurgence. Well, I guess career emergence. But you get the point. It was such a fun year, and it started off with everybody writing us off. And similarly, the same thing happened this year. I mean, at the start of the season, who would have predicted the Toronto Raptors to be a top 6 seed? Not anyone but me and my fellow Raptor fans, that's for sure. And apparently Kendrick Perkins, because I'm seeing a tweet about him and Bill Simmons coming back up. I do remember the tweet, but to give Bill Simmons a little bit of leeway, it wasn't just him who was thinking about this for the Toronto Raptors. It was everybody, every media personality, every YouTuber, every streamer, every reactor to the NBA thought that this team had a lot of talent, but that the talent wouldn't gel and that they would be completely mid. Not only has that not happened, but to be completely honest, it's been the actual opposite, especially on the offensive side of the ball. I am more confident on this team's offensive game than its defense so far into the season, 12 games into the season. Let's talk a little bit about the game today because it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. Honestly, it started off a lot like the Brooklyn game and it got me a little worried that this was going to be getting out of hand way too quickly. The number one thing I would describe was that we were way too sloppy offensively, just passing the ball in general, too many turnovers. There was one especially where Brandon Ingram, he got the rebound, just nonchalantly passed it to Scottie Barnes, where Donovan Mitchell made a football grab and they ended up getting a 3 down the floor. We're a team that prides ourselves in transition play. We cannot be sloppy passing the ball, especially in transition. Luckily, our saving grace once again, the new and improved bench mob, Jamal Shed and Sandro Mamukelashvili especially, they came in and changed the game. I know I'm like a broken record with Jamal Shed, but it's genuinely all I have to say about him. He changes the game every time he enters. This time it was through facilitating the offense and making plays on the defensive end, getting steals, getting stops. He was incredible tonight in the first half. All of Jamal Shed's assists, he's averaging like 5 on the season. All of them come from literally just going in and getting a paint touch and then either kicking the ball out or making the extra touch pass. It works every single time. And then his 3-point shooting's been incredible this season. It continued this game again. The bench was the only reason we ended up shooting like 40% as a team today. And Immanuel Quickley, we'll get to that later. Immanuel Quickley, oh my god. But while I'm talking about the bench, I have to speak about Sandro Mamukelashvili. His scoring off the bench is ridiculous. He had 13 points again tonight, shooting 2 for 3 from 3, and it feels like almost every single night Sandro Mamukelashvili is hitting double digits off the bench, which is our most reliable scoring option. Happens to be our backup center, which is wild, to be completely honest. He holds his own defensively as well. Like, that was one of my biggest concerns for Sandro, but like, he goes out there and he hustles and he makes plays, man. He's always in the right spot. And credit to the bench because they honestly started setting the tone more defensively for the starters as well. But yeah, I was actually really proud of the defense. I thought we rotated extremely well. I actually have a clip where the ball was moving around. Cleveland was trying to find an open man, but the Toronto Raptors were able to rotate onto the man. They were able to switch onto the next guy. And it was something that we hadn't seen in any of our losses because it would just be a lazy effort. Someone would drive towards the rim and score. But you're not seeing that anymore with the Toronto Raptors. You're seeing fight on the defensive end. Early on, we did a great job, and I think this is what contributed to him having a monster game today. We did a great job of finding Scottie Barnes the ball a lot more. We started off shooting the ball insane, but to be completely honest, we lost it a little bit. RJ Barrett, I felt like he was forcing it a little too much offensively. One of the great things about RJ Barrett has been this season where if he's not on one offensively, he doesn't try to force it and he tries to find others. But I feel like in these past 2 games especially, he's been trying to find his offense, trying to get it going. Listen, RJ Barrett's an incredible scorer. I'm confident in his 3-point shot, and I'm confident that'll return. This is just a slump, but we cannot have him force the ball way too much offensively. It'll just come, he's just got to be patient. I get it's probably frustrating, especially after the great start to the season, but he's going to need to be just a little bit patient. Second quarter, we showcased another example of the Quickley and Jamal Shed dual point guard lineups. They're honestly so good. I think having a defensive point guard in Jamal Shed really hides the defensive struggles of Immanuel Quickley really well. And they really work alongside each other perfectly on offense. Jamal Shed said it in the interview at halftime that when Immanuel Quickley is on fire, Jamal Shed is making it his duty to find him, especially in transition. Second quarter, we also saw Jared Allen, who did not have that many minutes today on the second night of a back-to-back. We saw him helping off Pirtle a lot, and we were really good at finding him, especially when driving to the bucket. It's a tough game for Jared Allen, only getting 21 minutes. Second night of a back-to-back where he played on the first night, and also it felt like a lot of the times on the floor, he was a little bit of a mismatch, just waiting to be there. The matchups were really weird for Jared Allen in this game especially, so I see a lot of Cavs fans complaining, but to be completely honest, some of the Cavs bench players were playing better than the starters, so credit to them. Speaking of those bench players, Naquan Tomlin was incredible tonight. It was his third NBA game, and he had 18 points and 6 rebounds, an absolute ridiculous stat line for, I don't even know, is he a rookie? Is he a sophomore? Is he just joined the league? I have no idea who he was until tonight. But yeah, he was making all the hustle plays. Honestly, he was a big reason for Cleveland still being in the game, actually. But yeah, at the start of the third quarter, we saw RJ Barrett try getting to his spot, going downhill. He needs to do that more if he wants to get his offense back on track. No one can stop you going downhill, RJ. You need to do that a lot more. Jakob Poeltl was active on the glass today, and I know his rebounds only say 7, but I will be completely honest, I don't think they're counting the rebounds where he's literally just tapping it out to a person, just creating an extra possession for the Raptors. It was huge tonight. There was literally one play where Jared Allen had to hold him. That's how active he was on the board. So Jakob Poeltl, if he could do that on the glass, it'll be such an advantage for us getting those second, third chance opportunities. Darko made a great decision in this game. I literally noted it down so I could talk about it. I loved Darko's decision in the third to bench some of the starters and then put in the bench and Scottie Barnes as a lineup. It ended up leading to us getting some stops as the Cleveland Cavaliers were coming on 8-2 run, closing the gap a lot. That being said, we couldn't stop fouling. We sent them to the line way too much. And I don't know why we held Scottie Barnes out for that long near the end of the third quarter, as the Cleveland Cavaliers ended up cutting the lead to 5 points. And this is where I thought, this is where the Toronto Raptors are going to show up, because in the past, this is where we lose the game. The team that is probably better than us, we're outplaying them, and then they go on this big momentum shift, and we just can't stop them whatsoever. They take the lead, we struggle to get it back. Maybe we cut the gap a little bit, but we can't finish it at the end of the day. Donovan Mitchell was going off, and getting to the line at will, apparently. There was some questionable reffing in this game, and I don't want to complain about it too much because we won, but Donovan Mitchell shot as many free throws as the Toronto Raptors himself at 17. We're lucky that we shot the ball at the line really well today, because if we didn't, this could have been a completely different game, and I would have been going on a very different rant than I am today. But yeah, everything was clicking for the Cleveland Cavaliers, so you would think that the Toronto Raptors, they just choke the lead like always. But this isn't the same Toronto Raptors team as it was in the past, because the Scottie Barnes and the Jakob Poeltl two-man game is what got us our lead back. They were so incredible today. The Cleveland Cavaliers, right? They decided to show zone for the second time this game. We broke it the first time, and the second time it was starting to cause us quite a bit of trouble. Scottie Barnes' basketball IQ is so good. He understands the attention that he gets, especially being as the middle man at the free throw line trying to break the zone. So he understands that the attention he's getting will lead Jakob Poeltl to being wide open. And he had so many no-look passes to Jakob Poeltl. It was actually funny. There was one play where Jakob Poeltl sold a beautiful no-look pass, point-blank layup where he missed. And then we go down the floor, get a stop, and then Scottie Barnes does another one in transition with an even easier bucket for Jakob Poeltl with the dunk. And the last person I gotta talk about, man, Immanuel Quickley with his third straight incredible game. It seems like these games have been like better than the last one because this one was so ridiculous. Kayla Gray, I'm pretty sure it was, she told a little story about she was talking to RJ Barrett and he thinks it's the shoes. Apparently Immanuel Quickley was wearing Sabrina Ionescu's shoes and he was struggling, so he switched to the Kobe's, which he would usually wear, and now he's back on his good shooting. So Immanuel Quickley, please burn those Sabrina Ionescu's. Nothing against the player, incredible shooter, but your shoes are clearly bad luck for our point guard. But yeah, seeing him hit his threes is just so valuable for us because it's going to open up the paint way more for Scottie Barnes, Brandon Ingram, and RJ Barrett. And then in transition as well, transition points is where we shine. We outscored them in transition by so much today. I think it was 20, fast break points, we outscored them 28-6 today. And it's because when Immanuel Quickley is running out in transition and he's able to hit those transition threes, those are back-breaking for us when they don't go in, but they're actually game-changing for us when they do go in. Because there's nothing that changes momentum more than, you know, when you get a rebound, you have maybe like a 3-on-1, and instead of going to the layup, you decide to take a pull-up 3 and you drain it. That is so frustrating for the defense because in technicality, it's a low IQ shot. But when you hit it, it's so huge and it's such a shift of momentum for you. And listen, if Immanuel Quickley's hitting them at a very decent rate, then I want him to keep shooting that ball, bro. But yeah, we ended up keeping the lead. We took a massive lead and the Cleveland Cavaliers just couldn't come back. We hit some timely threes as well. Immanuel Quickley. Scottie Barnes hit like a couple threes today, which was huge. I said Scottie Barnes, I meant Grady Dick. He was 2 for 3 from 3. So as I said, the bench literally saved us today. But I said Scottie Barnes because he is the player of the game. Listen to his stat line. 28 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, 1 steal, and 5 blocks. The first player in Toronto Raptors history to put up that stat line. Let me tell you something about Scottie Barnes. When he is not putting up these numbers, he's so valuable to this team. When he is putting up these numbers offensively, he is one of the best two-way players in the entire league. And Scottie Barnes is putting a genuine case for All-NBA this season. And I know, and to me, all defense should be a lock right now. If he continues putting up these numbers, just these stock numbers alone, but that's not even including the perimeter defense, the interior defense, the contests, the rotations, the ability to switch onto guards, onto centers, onto wings. He can guard everyone on the floor. Like today, he stopped Evan Mobley, who's been having a great season. He held Evan Mobley to how many points? To 6 points? To 7 points. And granted, you know, Evan Mobley didn't really look like himself out there, but I honestly do think that had something to do with Scottie Barnes and his presence out there. He cuts passing lanes. I'm so confident out of anyone on the team. I'm the most confident in Scottie Barnes running our transition game because he just always makes the right pass or he knows when to take it up himself. I said it before the season. His scoring is going to be crucial for our success this year. But I'm going to revise the statement a little bit. I think his efficiency is going to be the biggest criteria for our success this year because we have three other guys with Immanuel Quickley back. We have 3 other guys who can score 20 plus on a nightly basis. And in my opinion, if 2 of the 4 of those guys between Scottie Barnes, RJ Barrett, Brandon Ingram, and Immanuel Quickley score 20 plus points on a night, we are going to be really hard to beat. And to be completely honest, it would take a collapse defensively in a game like that for us to lose the game. And granted, it's happened in the past, but this is a new team who's still trying to figure out their identity. And in my opinion, they've been figuring it out chemistry-wise. They've been figuring it out communication-wise, defensively. You know, they've rotated incredibly well. They're talking out there. It's so good to see. And as much slack as we give Brandon Ingram on the defensive end, I think his interior defense has actually looked really solid. And, you know, it might just be because of his attributes, either with those long-ass arms, but I'm going to be honest, I don't care because he looks really comfortable inside the paint defending. He struggled a little bit tonight, him and RJ as well, but he hit some timely baskets, to be honest. And the one thing that I love, right, is seeing all these post-game interviews where Jamal Shead, Scottie Barnes, Darko Rakovic, they're all talking about how they need to get Brandon Ingram involved more, understanding how much pressure he's bringing, understanding the gravity he has. But then you're also hearing quotes from Brandon Ingram where he's like, if they're putting this much pressure on me, I'm trying to get others involved, which shows the selflessness of this entire team. I'm a Buffalo Bills fan, right? So it always reminds me to the analogy of our offense with Buffalo, of everybody eats. If one guy is getting a lot of attention defensively, that means someone else out there is going to be open. And that person, the team needs to have trust in to hit those shots. It's why I feel like they continue to play a guy like Jacoby Walter even though he's struggling, because they have faith. They know he can hit that shot. And the only way to get out of his slump is by shooting himself out of it. But yeah, an incredible win. Such a good win for the Toronto Raptors. Such a morale booster, being a genuine team in the East. You know, it feels so good because last time you had no Mitchell, no Jared Allen, no Darius Garland. This time you only had no Darius Garland. Granted, some of them were coming off the second night of a back-to-back, but Evan Mobley was well-rested, Donovan Mitchell was well-rested, and this was a legit win for your Toronto Raptors. Coming up next is, like I said, another must-win. I said minimum 7 games. We are currently on pace to beat what my projection was, because I think we have the ability to beat every single one of those trash teams, whether it's Brooklyn, Indiana, Charlotte, or Washington. And I was just like, 7 wins minimum in case you go 0-3 against Cleveland twice and Philly that one time. But now that we beat Cleveland once, I'm really excited to see what the prospect of our record being after this stretch. But it all starts one game at a time. Next up, we go up against the Indiana Pacers. Aaron Nesmith just got injured, so that's one less player we have to deal with out there. But Andrew Nembhard is back. He's starting to finally find his stride. I'm looking for one of our guards, whether it's Jamal Shead, Jacoby Walter, maybe Grady Dick plays some minutes on him. I'm looking for one of them to take on that challenge and limit Andrew Nembhard. The Indiana Pacers is still a pretty fast team. They're running transition, so my goal for the Toronto Raptors next game is to beat them in transition points, beat them in fast break points, and just be able to match their pace. I think it's gonna be 2 teams that are rested. Indiana's gonna be at home. They're looking for any sort of life, being 1-11 on the season this year. So I think you cannot let them get out ahead early. Like I said for the Brooklyn game, you are the better team. You need to show it early. You cannot let these teams that are inferior to you even think that they can beat you. We made that mistake against Brooklyn and we almost got burned for it. But we can't make that mistake with Indiana, because even though the record says 1-11, they still have some very good talent that was just in the NBA Finals. So no overlooking any of these teams. These are must-wins to me. I will be gravely disappointed if we lose to any of these teams, because we need to come out of this 10-game stretch we're looking like one of the top teams in the entire East. And the last thing is being able to get steals without fouling. We only got 6 steals in this game today. We need to get a lot more steals without fouling. We still have the tendency to do these stupid fouls. I know today was a little bit tough with the reffing, but like there's some times where, you know, it's just a dumb foul. Like there was one play where Brandon Ingram turned the ball over, and then Jacoby Walter, instead of just like allowing DeAndre Hunter to get a layup, he goes and he fouls him, giving up the and one. So stupid fouls like that, we just got to limit those against the Indiana Pacers. Do not give them any free points on Saturday. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for the support. Make sure to continue the support. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. Follow us on all the social medias. I'm hoping to record a podcast with Najee to talk about the rest of the NBA soon. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next episode of the Raptors Rundown.